So she has given that boundary. She's created that safe space for me to learn and to be myself.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching us or listening to us. My name is Monica Hernandez, and I'm your host with Infinity Growth. And I have not one, but two super special guests, Patricia and Charu. And thank you so much. You guys are going to talk about lots of interesting things. Among others, one very special I'll say organization that is running, and it has lots of already members, I guess, and that you guys are doing a lot of things on that realm. And that organization helps promoting women in STEM. And I'll let you explain a little bit more about it, but it's just to put the audience of Materials.Business into context. So thank you, MSCA Steminist girls, to the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So thank you for a nice introduction. So we are Patricia and Charu. Charu, maybe you start introducing yourself.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'm Charu Negi, and I'm the co-founder with Patricia of our Steminist movement. That's the MSCA. That is the Mindset, Soul, Curiosity, and Advocate Steminist movement, which promotes and advocates for the women, minorities, and STEMinists in across all fields of STEM.
We are currently both working at Max Planck Institute for Sustainable Materials in Düsseldorf, Germany. Here we also met. And last year, as already mentioned, Charu, we started with this initiation, or let's say movement, for the Steminist and so on. So what we're actually doing, so Charu is from the group from Corrosion, and I'm started this year with my own group called Surface Science for Future Materials, where we do a lot of materials research from different perspectives. So this year, that's how we also meet with you, Monica. We also organized the online conference, which was dedicated to women minorities in STM field. We had different speakers for different fields, but mostly they were focused in the corrosion or metallurgy field. So for the next year, we already are planning and also talking with different speakers. The topic is going to be the space exploration, which we try to also include not just natural studies, but also social studies, including science communication also, and of course also publishing house, which we also like always have from different perspective, because science is almost everything. Sometimes we left behind, such as publishing houses or even science communication, which is important for the general public, and also to present what we're actually working on and why is it interesting doing what we're doing. Would you add something?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting as we are still planning a lot for our next event, and yeah, so we're looking forward to it.
Amazing. So if there is anyone in the audience that had this profile and wants to be part of the event, I guess, well, they can contact you and then they can be in touch and see how they can collaborate. I did collaborate last year. It was amazing. You guys did organize a really nice event, and it had a lot of very good details about things that we normally don't think. You know, in science, and we say this all the time, science is almost like we are robots. And so almost we are human. And there is a lot of things that come into place when we are doing these kinds of work that sometimes are forgotten. So coming back to the roots and having that, and that I think I said that when we spoke, and I gave the kind of my timing in that time. I said I love that you put spirit into it, because nobody talks about it. It's like a taboo, and it's amazing to see how everything correlates, and you said it really well, Patricia. Sometimes we forget someone that is also in science, that because they are in the background, and it's good to have that give visibility to all those people, and that's why there is so much variety in our podcast, because we speak with people that are in STEM from everywhere, and we talk about things that are, well, from nuclear to safety, and they all have something to do with materials. So everything is very interconnected, and when you realize that, life becomes easier. So I guess my question to you is, why did you start that? When was that aha moment? And I came to Patricia, and Patricia came to Nara and said, we need to do this, and how this all came to life.
So it's almost a year back that I joined the institute, and then we connected together, and then we had our respective own fellowships, and through that we found our way to the women in science. So that's when we thought how important this is, and how if we can do something to promote this, or we can be the advocates of this movement. Patricia, would you like
Yeah, thank you. So exactly, to present women and minorities in STEM, it was important for us because there are some challenges that we have to cope with them, or some taboo topics that we are not trying to open them, but we have to talk and so on about them. And also, not only that, what we also observed when we're doing our research is also important to have application. So we would like to be also a bridge between science and an industry. And because we met so many amazing women, and of course minorities in STM, not just work in science, but also in industry. And most of them, or many of them, we don't know, but we should know them. So that was also one of the motivations.
Exactly. So you're, and that is why I think we align very well, because we also saw a lot of this part. No, what I want to say, like a disconnection between what we are doing, which is amazing in the labs and in the universities, but then the industry moves at a different pace, and it has different requirements. So, and we always want to use what we are doing for better on the industry. That's the ultimate goal. So, can you give me just a hint of what you guys are working? Like it's something that is awesome and it will be different for industry. Just a hint of what you guys are doing.
So I'm working in the field of cryogenics. That's mean I'm using cryogenic treatment. So that's a treatment where we're trying to expose metallic material, usually to 77 Kelvin, so really to almost minus 200 degrees Celsius, in order to improve its properties, such as mechanical, wear, corrosion resistance, etc. And at the moment, I'm working on the material for the fusion applications, so for the actual energy sector, from my perspective. So that would be actual application in my case. Charu?
So I'm basically working on corrosion, and basically corrosion protection through organic coatings, where I will investigate self-healing organic coatings and try to investigate the fundamental processes that are taking place, and basically the applications would be in automotives.
Marvelous. So it's applications that go both sides, and it's applications that are coming up to different industries within the holistic aspect. So that's really neat. Let me ask you, what is one of the things that you like the most about your work?
In my case, so if it's directly to the work, it's work environment, which is really international, and we are such an interdisciplinary colleagues that we have ideas in discussion, and we can get this is actually enriching us also in our research. But in regards to the topic, I really love that I'm one of the only women in my field that works in cryogenics. So there are many challenges, but I love that. Charu.
But would you like to put on the numbers about the women in cryogenics?
So exactly, if you count everything, I work in material science, and then also have to count fusion and so on. It's below 1% of women where I'm working.
Wow.
Charu?
Wow.
So for me, it's the environment, it's the curiosity, and like it's the chemistry, which I really love to do. So like
Uh-huh.
I've been so fond of creating new materials, which is like somewhere a later part in my research. So that's pretty interesting for me to do. Yeah.
So I guess, Patricia, you are the minority of the minority of the minority. And you have had to be the first one and the only one in the room in many, many places, I guess. How do you deal with that?
So I have already now experience when this is really, let's say, more male dominant environment we're working into. I'm talking about my topic, don't get me wrong. And I can see that, for example, when we write on articles and then you have to refer to the previous article, that my male colleagues are ignoring me and instead of me citing somebody else, which are male usually. So what I do, for example, I'm usually the only woman in the room. So first is of course confidence, and confidence is like you have to be dressed to kill, I would say. So always dress really edgy and like I like really dress to kill. You already have your all eyes on you already, and then important is how you present the topic. And they try to sometimes say, the meaning, nah, it's not working. I said, sure, show me why is it not working, and then all of a sudden is silence. So I did this like that.
So you mentioned two different things. Is a lot of confidence in who you are, but also a lot of confidence in what you're doing is right. And challenging the person that is challenging you to prove why isn't the way it is supposed to. So that is really interesting. So it's really good tips. Sometimes we are in moments where we don't know, and little things like that can be differentiators. But also another aspect that you mentioned that is very important to say is all eyes are on you. And that can be very intimidating for someone, especially someone that is fresh out of school, or it's sometimes it's not that easy to deal with all eyes on you. Do you have anything that you can share with the audience? Any tip, or how did you build that confidence? I don't think we are born with that confidence. I think we have to build it.
So I would like also, let's say, suggest or recommend, also always support Sharon, that is, you have to practice public speaking. It's very important. So science communication. Then we go, we see not only science, but science communication. So I would say practice, because this is important, because through the public speaking, you're also sending the message. And if it's a clear, concise matter, and also that they see, the let's say presentation and all the mimics, how you're doing with your hands and so on, it's confident. They say, wow, that woman that knows what she is doing. So that's also say always Char when she has some conference, practice, no worry if you need some feedback and so on. So we always do that. And also I always recommend when you have a public presentation to conference, be really dressed very well, because it's also a message to your audience.
I would like to add that's what I feel when I see her presenting, to be honest. It's like an inspiration to me.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
awesome. And I think you are absolutely right. And I think everyone in the podcast has come, and it can be from any topic. I mean, it can be in science, it can be in engineering, it can be in, and they all have the same kind of tip to the audience is deal or learn on how communicate, because otherwise you will be frustrated all your career because nobody is going to listen to you. And that's why sometimes we meet professionals after 20 years and they or 15 years and they are fed up. They don't want to be there anymore. They just want to do something else because nobody listens. But maybe perhaps the better question to ask is if they are not listening, or if they are not including me, for example, or if they are not following, how am I transferring that message that is not getting the impact that I want to give? So it is little topics that I find very interesting, because regardless of your gender, or regardless of where you are in the world, what you're working on, communication has always come in a part of our discussions. So I guess it's something interesting to highlight. Charu, what is one of the things that you mentioned that you really admire how Patricia presents, and how is that how she delivers the message? Is there something in particular that you really like about it that you want to tell the public?
Yes, that's first her confidence. Second, her experience. Like, she teaches me through her experiences, and she gives enough space for me to experience things myself, learn myself. So she has given that boundary. She's created that safe space for me to learn and to be myself. So that's what I love.
That's amazing. And that's the other really good piece. A lot of times when we have mentors, I really don't like the word mentor, because when I had mentors, they tried to change me into someone I wasn't. So be like, have tougher skin, be more, manly, and forget about being a woman. And hearing that you have someone that is an ally to you and supports you into growing who you already are into the best version of yourself, I think that is priceless. So congratulations on having you too, and having that ally by your side that is going to help your growth in the way it is supposed to happen. And congratulations to Patricia for allowing. It's not easy. Sometimes we want to give the solutions, right? Even as a mom, sometimes with my kid, I don't want him to get hurt. So it's like, oh, don't go there. You might get hurt. But they need to go, and they need to explore, and they need to fall, and they need to learn. And that's just part of life. And it's not easy watching someone that one loves going into places that are not super easy to navigate. So I guess it's a long process to learn. But since you're so young and you're already doing it, it's an amazing place to be.
Thank
So,
you.
Yeah.
so does your group have other people, or is only you two doing everything? And how is that organization kind of working?
So we are main active members. So we are organizing and also trying to prepare the different events and like speakers. However, based on our experience and so on, we are all the time still till now in contact with all our previous speakers. Some speakers are also like helping us to reach new speakers based on the background, and also based on our experience and so on. So we say we are representing and advocating for women and minorities. And when we think about minorities, we always think about nations or ethnicity. But many times we forget about disabled people and people with neurodiversity. So neurodivergence, I wouldn't say disease, but neurodiversity such as challenges such as you nicely had the last time your interview with the ADHD. Then we also have autism in science. And not only that, we also have minorities in regards to the gender and sexual orientation. So we really many times forget that there are other minorities that we advocate for them. And on the other side, based on our also audience feedback from the, let's say, last online conference, is also that we need men, especially Steminist men, so the people who support diversity in science, because only with support of them we can actually make actual changes. Because if you look also now, there are still majority of researcher is still identifies as men. So we cannot just say, sorry, because you're not part of women or minorities, sorry, you cannot be part of that. No. That's why we improved also that. So we are now saying, yes, women, minorities, and Steminist. And also based on their discussions that we have, or interactions, or for example, if we admire this person, we write to them, they also say, okay, this is very good, let's continue this, maybe let's get into this idea and so on. So really based on experience, or at the conferences, or even now when you go just to a cafeteria here to eat for lunch, you meet so many unique and amazing people who are truly inspiring. They say, oh, why wouldn't you try this? For example, we just talked with one of my colleagues, actually our colleagues from IT, over coffee. We're like, wow, you know what? I really support women in science. Like, oh, okay, wow. And from based on that, each month now I have on my board over there outside the office one minority, and of course including women, in STM. So last month we have one from the United States. This month we have from India. So we are really trying to provide this variety and diversity that we have in science. And that's where actually we stand, and we're also looking this direction.
Yeah, and also we are trying to create an awareness through social media as well, because like that is social media somehow plays a very important role. As I come across a lot of people who are truly not aware that gender inclusion diversity is a thing that I came across, in fact, in my PhD programs workshop as well. So that was kind of surprising to me. So that's why, like, that's how it shaped. Like, we need to like be on the social media platform to either promote or like advocate, do everything, like share what we plan to do, or like what we have, or to create awareness. So I think social media is doing a great job in that, in reaching out to people, and many people reach out to us as well. Like some of them wrote to us on LinkedIn as well about our this year's event, and how they're looking forward to attend next year's event as well.
That's amazing. And yeah, the outreach that we get through social media is marvelous. Like I would have never imagined in my life that I can be talking to someone, I don't know, in Qatar, or the last one that I recorded was in Uruguay in South America. And everyone has something that is interesting to be shared. But also, there are so many commonalities in our stories. And you said it really well, Patricia. There is not only women, but also all those other people that are underrepresented. And it is very interesting to see how all those stories correlate. And that is why I always ask, what do you do? And like, how do you deal with this? Because someone may be relating with you. I also believe that, that is why I really wanted to bring you in, because you're young people, you're in a different country, you're not like Charu, you are from elsewhere. So many people can relate to what you are, and then say, oh wow, if she can do it, maybe I can too. And that is the one piece of motivation that they need that day. So that is, I totally agree. And that's why I said last time that we are looking in the same direction. And I'm really happy that there is more of us doing the effort from our little places of wherever we are. And we can bring the community together. And then if we can work together, it's easier to arrive to where we want to be. So you have been doing what you're doing almost a year now, or a year. And you said, like, in your environment, you are already seeing a change and an acceptance and some allies. Anything else that you have seen from the place you have been in the last year, like comparing like 2 years ago to where you are now?
I would say I'm also at the same time equality and diversity group leader from all postdocs from Max Planck Society. And I would say, based on what we are standing for as MSCA Steminist and my, let's say, also role, of course, we are all volunteering for that. Let me just phrase it, because we are all volunteering for that, is that people became more open and they are not so much ignorant anymore. I would say this. What about you?
Yeah, agreed. And like, if I talk about my side of circle, like the PhDs, they have started becoming aware through our initiation. So like, it's pretty cool to see, like, once we were told when we were about to begin that why would you do that if only 20% women are there in science, but we still did that.
Indeed.
And I think these small steps are like the road to success. So we are just one step ahead, but that made a lot of difference.
And also, for example, with Tamar, our speaker from the publishing house, Coatings, I also had an option to talk with her this week. And she said, wow, I was truly shocked and really surprised by all the presentations that we have. And now I really advocate and give some boundaries and limits. So sorry, no, this is not more anymore. We cannot tolerate this anymore. And let's say more on the local, let's say basis, we can see better, let's say, collaboration between PhDs and postdocs at our local institute in regards to this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of change that happened in 1 year. And also it's very rewarding. I don't know for you, but for me at least it is, when someone reach out and they are like, oh, I listened to that podcast and it was amazing. And I got so many tips out of it. And now I am doing this. I'm putting boundaries. Or I'm not accepting that. Or I know a little that I need to work on myself, or I need to give me time. Or so it is always, and that is just the reward that we volunteers do, right? Because also Materials is solely funded by Infinity Growth. So it's meaning my time is, and the edition time and all that comes into place. So we know the value of what we are putting together. But it's also very rewarding to see how the outer world is taking it and making the best out of the message that we're transferring. So that is really cool. So I guess you already have your theme for the next event. What is the plan? You guys planning to just do the event every year, or are you planning to do, what are the plans in your heads? Because I know that you're planning and I see your eyes, Patricia, you're thinking on, what else can we do? So what are those perhaps more long-term or mid-term plans with the movement that you can tell us?
Of course. So at the moment, we're planning for the next year conference, which is now changed the name also from Women Minorities to Women, Minorities and Steminist in Science, which is inspired actually why we decided to go to the topic, which we're going to describe, is actually when we first met and we talked about our childhood idols, which women in science inspired us. We actually realized, me coming from Slovenia and Charu coming from India, which Himalayan state I really always love it.
I'm from Uttarakhand, which lies in the Himalayas. It's a Himalayan state in the north of India. So we both were like, we had the same idol.
And that was
Sunita Williams, who is also Indo-Slovenian or Slovenian Indian. So yeah, that was the first time I came to know that she is half Slovenian.
Wow.
She's an astronaut now, also up in the space at the moment, at the space station at the moment.
Yeah.
So we decided, in honor to that, how we actually talk about it and start with initiative. We're going to say for the next year, we're going to do space exploration and actually advocate and celebrate the achievements of us women, minorities, and STEMists in that. So based on this year, for the next year, we are trying to really, as said, we are trying to act as a bridge between different, I would say, not disciplines, but fields such as science, industry, science communication, publishing. That's why we're trying to look for different speakers. Some are already saying from this year, can it be? Of course, you can be. No worries, we're going to incorporate the topic. But now, for example, we already have some speakers which are confirmed, and they're really variety with different backgrounds, but they're all doing research in the space. So we're going to have like a talk about meteoroids. Then it's going to be like talk about the satellites and the position of LGBT community in the space exploration. So it's really variety. So we're still looking for the industry partner, hopefully in this connection. But we're really looking for that. Also, it's going to be 5 days, probably 2 talks again per day. And of course, we're going to have again
a scavenger hunt.
Indeed. And we really love, so we're also now trying to do collaboration also in regards most to some like women aerospace society and so on. So we're also trying to support and to promote through different channels in order to really have the whole event is based on volunteering. So besides our work, we're also doing that. So again, the speakers when we say, we always say, look, we understand, we can promote, help you with that, but this is based on volunteering. So the speakers also always know, I know in what I'm diving into. And for example, also now, Charu is preparing already the website for the next time. Then we're trying to do as podcasts different to promote, because we need to have this variety. Okay, the topic is space exploration, but that doesn't mean we have to just be bounded by that. For example, we also have a colleague who's trying to get this law in space. Like, wow, social studies or law, what is going on there? And so really variety. So till now we have 6 speakers already confirmed. Really variety, I'm really proud of that. There are women, minorities, and Steminists. On Friday, we also talking this with the option with presenting disabled people in research, especially in space exploration, which they're challenging for them. But of course, they're such an inspiration in this field. So what would you add also?
Yeah, and like regardless, even for the nationalities, I would say we are trying to reach out across the globe. So like since my PhD program is based in Australia, so I'm trying to contact some from my own host university as well. So and me from being from India, and we're trying to contact some from the Astronomical Society of India as well. So we're still in process, and we hope we can get them through as well.
Yes, and we didn't also forget about our last speakers. They all get invited. It's like the honorary members already of our family, I would say. And of course, they can have access to all the panels again, because again, we have to have a voice that has to spread. So that all, Monica, you will get soon in the future invitation. No worry.
Thank you. But I agree. I mean, and this has been the whole motto with what the work we are doing. And one of the things that I always say when I am in stage is it doesn't have to be lonely. And I say that by meaning, because in so many areas or so many moments, I felt lonely. And when I turned around, I had no one to give me a hand. And I don't want any of you guys, or, I don't want my kid or his kids or any other person to feel that way, because it's not a right feeling. It's not good. So it's good to build community. And the more diverse the community, the more learnings you have. Because someone brings an idea that you are like, oh, wow, it's such a thing like a law in space. What? And of course there are, like now that I have my company, I'm like, yeah, we have lawyers. So it's interesting to some things that we never think about. And then when you are facing, if you have never heard about it, it's just like what Charu was saying. I'm shocked to hear that people still don't think this is something. And it is. I have also 2 mentees in Canada. They're not like in some place that is out. No, they're here. And one of them told me that in school they never heard about the gender gap in salary, which is very real. Like all my life, I felt that, and it is something that is very real even today. So I think the work that you guys are doing is amazing. Congratulations for not listening to those people that said, "Why are you gonna do it? It's only 20, whatever." It's like even if there is one, I think there is value on it because that one person might be brilliant and might be feeling so lonely. And if you offer a hand, they will develop into something marvelous. So, congratulations for building that community, for impacting without having to knock on people's heads, but just by being the best version of yourselves. And you're seeing all that impact already. And like you said, Patricia, this is all volunteering hours by paying a lot on to your soul, I guess, going back to your S. And it's making you and the people that you are touching be uh, impacted, and they know they have awareness. They might have one or two tricks, and they may be able to approach a challenge in a different way. So you have a brilliant path ahead, I guess. I'm very excited to be part of the next event. Definitely, I will be there. And if you want me to speak, I can speak again.
Thank you so much.
Means we will put all the publicity, and then we'll reach out into our members if there's any member that of this material business community that wants to reach out to them. Please do, because yeah, last year it was really nice, and it's good to have people coming and getting wanting to be involved. People that are like, why are not men here? I want to be part of it. It's like, oh, come on, yeah, it's really good. So it's embracing that. It's, I think, one of the biggest lessons that we can get out of that is not becoming what we suffer from. It's not like, oh, this is something men are not allowed. Like I am picturing, the cartoons when the little at the house and the girls weren't allowed. Vice versa. Like, yeah, it's like, no, let's come, let's talk, let's grow together, because that's the only way that we can really truly make an impact.
And also nicely said it, put it, Monica, over there. So yes, first step is equality, but next is equity, which we have. Also notice we are equal in some cases. Of course, we are men, but some have more equity than others. And this will also have to change.
Totally. And that, I think, starts by listening, because sometimes you don't know, right? And I put this example all the time. Many years ago when I went to platforms offshore, there weren't bathrooms for women. And then they built bathrooms for women. So I was like, oh, there is a bathroom for women. So now I don't have to change, in my corner or little place. But then the bathrooms for women didn't have baskets or garbage. And when I said that, all of the guys looked like confused, like, why do you need a bin for garbage? Like, you just, like, what? Why? And I was like, well, I'll go ask your wives. And when they realized, oh gosh, so they didn't came to a conclusion, like they couldn't, honestly. And it's not because they're bad, man. It's just, they don't know. So I said, every month we need to use products, feminine products, and we need to dispose them. And then you have to wrap that up and then find in the gym or a basket somewhere to dispose that. And they're like, oh, wow, I never thought about it. Of course, they don't use pads, they don't use tampons. Why would they think that it is necessary to have a basket?
That's a very nice example, Monica. For example, so many times I talk with Charu when we are wearing skirts or dresses. Now you can see in the last 2 to 3 years, we have pockets. I was so impressed. It's just like, I'm showing all the time to Charu. Look at my pockets. I hate my skirt, the pockets and dress. Look at that. Look at that. So it's like, next step.
Yeah, and it's little things that nobody thinks about, but it's like, oh wow, it makes the whole difference. I know like my favorite dress, I think the only one that I have that I really wear a lot has pockets. Because you need pockets, right?
Deep
Yes. Yeah.
So yes, it's because it's representation. And that is why it is nice to have, here we have 3 nationalities. I think within the 3 of us, we speak like 7 languages or so. So this is what creates that discussion that needs to go out. So the message, I guess we have repeated it a lot, is the more diverse, the more opinions, the more challenges, the more you grow. And then as community, the more tightened you are, then you will have connections all over the world. And then you will have marvelous things that will develop just from an idea.
Yeah.
Indeed.
We are almost at the end. I told you this is going to go so fast.
Indeed.
So
Yeah.
we are almost at the end of the podcast. What do you guys have a last message for the audience? What will you say to them?
You start?
For me, it has always been about dreaming and working on the dreams and like being patient while working on that dream. So, good things take time, be patient, and work on your dreams.
Amazing.
I agree. And also say, do not limit yourself, because usually we limit ourselves and we think we cannot achieve some things. And the second thing, if you're trying to write an article, publish, or funding, your 50% is done. It's on them, their 50%. Just like that.
Wow, that's powerful. Oh, that's really good. Amazing closure. Thank you so much, guys, for being here.
The same.
We will, if you send us the links, we'll add the links to our audience, and they can just easily go back and check on you and subscribe. And I don't know how you say subscribe, maybe not, but reserve for the next event and participate. But really,
That'd be great.
from my heart, congratulations, because you're making
Thank you.
And you will get invitation letter very soon this week.
Yeah.
We said first like to touch a little bit and you're gonna get it.
amazing. It will always be my pleasure. All right, guys,
Ours,
have a
of
great
course. Yeah.
Have a great day. Thank you for your time.
The
Thank
same to
for
you,
everything you do.
Monica. Yeah.
Yeah.
See ya.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.